and welcome to Live Vedanta, a podcast where we explore simple living and high thinking. Each week, we join Vivek Gupta as he offers insights on bringing the divine into the daily. Vivekji has experienced much of what the world has to offer, whether it is attending an elite business school or traveling to almost 50 countries. However, tired with the inconsistent and incomplete peace associated with these pursuits, he decided to turn his journey within. Over the last decade, Vivekji has shared his observations on the science of independent joy with communities across North America and beyond. What does a tortoise, the clouds, and a mean person have to do with immunity? In this next episode of the Meditation in Life series, Vivekji gives us 3 visualizations on how to build our immunity from external influences.
Hariom, and greetings from Niagara Falls. The word Vishnu, as in Bhagwan Vishnu, comes from the base Vish, which means to enter all. The implication of that is to be all-pervading. The implication of this is to be all. The one who's entered all, pervades all, naturally is all. This is where the word Vishvam has come from. This multiverse is Bhagwan Vishnu. Do you see him? Do you feel him? If you don't, then we are just Hiranyakashipu. And if we do, then we are Bhakta Prahlada. Was Bhakta Prahlada using his eyes to see Bhagwan Vishnu? He was most in tune to Sat Chit Ananda, or existence, awareness, joy. That's what this multiverse is, existence. How can you deny existence? There's no neti to Sat. This whole multiverse is Chit, or awareness. Neti doesn't apply to awareness, because if you're applying that to awareness, you're still using awareness, no? And Ananda, or joy, all of us, all we do is for joy, because that's what's natural. Anyone who can think like this, anyone who can feel this, they go to Vaikuntha. Now you're all thinking, a Vimana, an aerial chariot, will come and take you from your respective American and Canadian city, and you'll go through the stratus clouds, and it'll be cold, but the aura of that Vimana will keep you warm. The word kuntita means blunt, that which is blunted. What keeps getting hit for us is our happiness, you know? Today I had a good day. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? It's blunted. Kuntita, or Vaikuntha, means where there's no stopping, no conditions. Vaikuntha is not a place. Vaikuntha is your nature. And so what is our course? Our course is the best way to celebrate an utsava. We have so many utsavas in Sanatana Dharma, like Yugadi. Yes? Yugadi is the beginning of the Yuga. And we celebrate it by eating. See what we've done to our celebrations. Eating. the best way to celebrate an utsava or a festival is to tune into Vishwa, to tune into Vaikuntha, to know that you are Vishnu. Last week, we explored slowing down our perception. The more you perceive, the more you have to process. If we slow down our perception, that really is a catalyst to slowing down our thoughts. To not focus on the relative, but to focus on the absolute. And further than that is to stop projections. Stop making matters personal. I read a book called Canada 123 to Vyasa. And 3 is 3 totem poles standing tall on the west coast. Do you all know what a totem pole is? Okay. So in this totem pole, there is an animal with its eyes like this. Right? It's a totem pole. And Vyasa, whenever he looks at it, says, I'm scared of that. See, for Vyasa, he's never seen a totem pole. He doesn't even know what being scared means. Yes, it's just a projection. He's heard from someone else saying, I'm scared of this, or I'm scared of that. So he's simply applying that. He's projecting that onto this cartoon book. And now you're all laughing. That's so cute, Vyasa. Why do you do that? Bhagwan's thinking that about us. We're afraid of that. We have anxiety about that. We're worrying about this. Stop your projections. Projections can't hurt you. How? So slow down perception, stop projection. Doing all of this, you'll start to feel more peace. You'll sleep better. You'll wake better. You'll think better. And value that peace. Amplify that peace. When you hear a fine piece of music, don't you turn the volume up so you can hear every detail? Do the same with your experience, and that will be your fuel to reach peace once and for all. We keep getting sidetracked or distracted. How many of you have been on a yatra with me? By show of hands. Okay. When we are on our yatras, how much time do I give you to be a tourist? 1 muhurta. Do you know how long a muhurta is? 3 hours. Out of a 21 or 14 or 10-day journey, you get 3 hours to let go of all of that shopping vasana, because that's not why you're there. But many other yatras, they give you 1 muhurta for sadhana, the rest of the time it's shopping, right? Buy more chandan, buy more items for your altar. This is what happens to us. Feel peace. This will become your fuel to peace. We're now on chapter 34, which is transforming influences. And this is a chapter I like a lot. It's quite powerful. Vedanta is a science that is not focused on the symptom, but is focused on the source. It's not a reactive science, but a proactive science. Too many of us feel that Vedanta helps with vasana kshaya. In the chat room, tell me what kshaya means. Vasana kshaya. Kshaya means reducing one's vasanas. That's not what this science is. Vedanta is about vasana nashta. Tell me what that word means. Destroying your vasanas. It's not about reducing your vasanas, because there's still a vasana then. There's still a condition. Our vasanas have been formed by our environments. Listen carefully to this. Our environment has an effect on our physical world. We'll call that our actions. Yes? Our physical world or actions has an effect on our mental world or our mind. Yes? If you keep acting in a certain way, you're going to keep thinking in a certain way. Our mental worlds have an effect on our causal world. In other words, our minds have an effect on our blueprint or vasana. So how did my vasana get formed? By my mind. How did my mind get formed? By my body. How did my body get formed? By my environment. Yes? Sheila and I were at a restaurant with Shuka. And I was standing up. I don't know why. And as I was standing up, I was just rocking back and forth. And the waitress was looking at me in a very peculiar way. Like, what are you doing right now? And I caught myself that I'm so used to holding Shuka and just swaying. You know, like when you come off a cruise ship, you feel that. That's my vasana now. I don't know how to stand straight. I just keep swaying. But how did it happen? Environment, no? So fascinating, that effect on us. We have a vasana to overestimate how strong we are. Yes? We have a vasana to think that our environment doesn't affect our vasanas, correct? And you really come to see your vasanas in moments of tension, like right now. When the whole world keeps closing and closing and closing, our stress is elevated. Our anxiety is elevated. Our sadness is elevated. Are you still as strong as you thought you were? And this is not to poke at anyone, but rather a reality check, no? When one goes to a physician for their annual checkup and their body mass index is shown or their cholesterol levels, that reality check has such an impact on one. That's why people don't go for annual checkups. They don't want that reality check, isn't it? I feel that these reality checks are most important. When I was studying in our ashram, Swami Tejamananda never used humor or stories. It was simply a kick over here, a punch over there, pulling your hair over here, pushing you over there. All of the new students are like, whoa, why would we ever want to go to the Vedanta course? But it's a reality check of what have you been doing with your life? When your potential is absolute, why are you succumbing to the relative? Yes. We have a vasana to overestimate our immunity to our environment. Be honest. Right now is an ideal time to be honest. Carrying with this thought of immunity, the greater one's purity, the greater one's immunity. And this obviously applies physically. Shuka's inner organs are way more pure than mine. Mine have gone through decades of abuse, eating cereal, pickle galore. Whereas Shuka only eats natural organic food at this point, I think. So his immunity, to an extent, is stronger than mine. Now that's for the body. Imagine for the mind. The purer one's mind, the more immune they become to stress, to anxiety, to sadness. We're often exposed to have this idea of having a sattvic mind, but in deeper Vedanta, there's levels of sattva, which I'm going to share with you for you to reflect on as a ladder, a framework. There is sattva. Greater than that, Shuddha Sattva. And greater than that is Vishuddha Sattva. Sattva means purity. What does Shuddha Sattva mean? Pure purity. And what does Vishuddha Sattva mean? The purest pure purity. This should be our aspiration. This should be our standard and our default, is to develop that level of purity where any thought that comes from my vasanas doesn't touch me. I'm immune to compliments. I'm immune to criticism. How do we practice this? I'm going to share 3 points with you on how to go from sattva to shuddha sattva to vishuddha sattva. And see the love I have for you. I'm already presuming that we all have sattvic minds, no? Isn't there a quote that says, when love is weak, faults are thin. When love is thick, faults are thin. Yes? So thick love, so there's no faults amongst any of us. First visualization, a tortoise. You may not have heard me, so I'm going to say it again. Tortoise. Now you got it. A tortoise, if there was one in this house, which is a strange thing. Imagine there was just a tortoise right there, and I stamped my foot beside it. That tortoise would withdraw all of its limbs, yes? Head, legs. The tortoises have 4 legs or 2 arms and 2 legs? Distraction, no? The tortoise you should be is only focus on thoughts you need to. Only focus on thoughts you need to. A tortoise, when it doesn't need to have its limbs out, brings its limbs in. For you, you may have a thought about doubt or a judgment. If you don't need that thought, don't focus on it. Okay? So that's your first visualization, to get a sattvic mind. Shuddha sattva, vishuddha sattva. Here's your next visualization. Clouds. What is the source of a cloud? You may have read this in the chapter. It is the sun, no? If the sun did not evaporate water and put it out into the environment, there'd be no clouds, correct? I think in the desert, there are no clouds, I think, because there's no water to create those clouds. So, the cloud is created by the sun, and it's as if the cloud covers the sun, yes? So now apply this to your thoughts. Your thoughts are the clouds, and your spirit is the sun, yes? If you know that the clouds depend on the sun, then don't take the clouds or your thoughts so seriously. See, that's a deeper practice. The first is only focus on what you need to. The second practice is be vigilant that these are just thoughts. I've given you so many raws. Imagine someone else's thoughts are actually what you're experiencing. Then it's easy to ignore them, to disregard them, to not be affected by them. Be vigilant. Every thought you have, there's something deeper. You may not know what that is now, but the thought should then be taken lightly. Okay? And one more practice. Have you all read the Amar Chitrakatha on Bhasmasura? Do you all know the story of Bhasmasura? So you have this Asura who wants this power that anyone he can touch will turn into Bhasma. Bhasma means they're burned into ash. So Bhagwan Brahma, he's very too generous. Bhagwan Brahma is like a rich person who just keeps on giving money, even to people who don't deserve that money. So he gives him this boon, and then Bhasmasura starts to chase Bhagwan Brahma. I'm going to touch you. I don't know if this works or not, so I'm going to touch you. Let's see if you have given me this boon that works. So Bhagwan Brahma takes off, and he eventually finds Bhagwan Vishnu. And Bhagwan Vishnu quickly processes what happens, and he transforms himself into an attractive figure, and then goes to that Bhasmasura and fascinates him. And he goes on describing to her how powerful he is. And she says, prove it to me. Show me your strength. So what does he do? He puts his hand on his head and turns himself into Bhasma. Bhagwan Brahma did reward Bhasmasura, yes? And there was another problem that came, so Bhagwan Vishnu came also. You try whatever you can try to make your mind sattvic, and Bhagwan will know that you're trying and help you. We'll create that momentum. So whenever you have this visualization of Bhasmasura, your action plan should be try. Whatever you've learned, whatever you know, simply try that. Observe the mind, chant with the mind, write with the mind, direct the mind, whatever it may be. Bhagwan will know you're trying. Tortoise, focus on the thoughts you need. Clouds, those thoughts should be taken lightly because there's a deeper aspect of you. And finally, Bhasmasura. Just try. Even the asuras are rewarded. Because finally, Bhasmasura had darshanam Bhagwan, no? That's more than a lot of us right now.
If you enjoyed what you heard or want to learn more, share this episode with a friend or find us online at facebook.com/cmniagara. For those on the journey of self-development, Chinmaya Mission Niagara provides a community forum for seekers to listen, reflect, and contemplate. This podcast is produced by the Young Adults of Chinmaya Mission, an international nonprofit working to transform individuals through the knowledge of Vedanta. Until next time, inspire, love, be.